They also said, interestingly, that the unredacted files have redactions because that's how they arrived at the DOJ in the first place. Redactions presumably put in place by the FBI. But some of the people who've gone in there and come out have been really, really horrified by all of this. And you're about to hear from two Democratic Congresswomen, Representatives Becca Balint and Melanie Stansbury, and then finally pro-Trump Republican Lauren Boebert immediately after they saw the unredacted files at the DOJ.
To understand the depths of depravity, I just can't even, there aren't words to describe what are in those files. But it's very clear that the United States government has failed to hold perpetrators accountable for decades in this case.
I've tried to shoot a video now probably a dozen times trying to tell you about what I saw in the Epstein files. And honestly, it's just so depraved. And it's sick, and it's not a cabal. It's so much bigger than a cabal. It is a vast network of rich and powerful people believing they can do whatever they want to girls and women.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wabihi nasta'in.
The letter of Rabi'i ibn Amir to Rustum, the leader of the Persians. Rabi'i ibn Amir was one of the Sahaba. He was sent as a messenger to meet with the Persian general. So Rustum asked Rabi'i, why did you come to our land? What brought you here? The Muslims entered into the land of Persia. Why did you come here? What's the reason? Is it for the sake of money, for the sake of expansion, for the sake of revenge? Why are you here? He said, Allah has sent us. It was Allah who brought us here, first of all. Allah has sent us so that we would deliver whom He wills from being servants of the servants of Allah to being servants of Allah. People are now worshipping the servants of Allah Azza wa Jal, and they're worshipping creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. They're worshipping people, they're worshipping stones, they're worshipping animals. So they're worshipping the creation of Allah. So Rabi'i ibn Amir is saying that we came here to save you. We came here to deliver whom Allah wills, because we don't control who becomes Muslim. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Hidayah is not in your hands. It is Allah who guides. So Rabi'i is saying that we would deliver whom Allah wills from being servants of the creation of Allah to being servants of Allah. And from the narrowness of this life to the broadness of this life and the afterlife. So you're living a narrow life in dunya. If you're not a Muslim, you have tunnel vision. You're living a narrow life. Your worldview is limited. But with Islam, it would give you the broad perspective. It would put things in perspective. It would let you know the real meaning of what this dunya is. See, anybody without Islam is living in darkness. They're living in a tunnel. They cannot see. But a Muslim with Quran, for example, let's look at the perspective that Quran gives you. Quran talks about the history since Adam alayhi salam until Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then it talks about the future, about death and what would happen beyond death. So it gives you a time frame of everything that occurred in the world since Adam alayhi salam, and it will tell you what will happen in the future. What other book can provide you with such a perspective? People are living their particular moment, the particular age that they're living in. But a Muslim feels that he's part of a caravan that started with Adam alayhi salam and will end with Isa alayhi salam. You're part of something. You have a heritage. You have a history. You're part of the Ahl al-Haq, the people of truth. You are part of the Anbiya, and that's why Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Al-Anbiya, after Allah Azza wa Jal told us the story of the prophets, the last ayah was, إِنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُونَ. This is your ummah, and it's one ummah. So there's no difference between the ummah of Isa and the ummah of Musa and the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the ummah of Nuh. They're all part of the same ummah. We're talking about the true followers of Musa and the true followers of Isa alayhi salam, obviously. إِنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُونَ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he went to Medina, and he found that the Jews were fasting the 10th of Muharram. Rasulullah ﷺ said, why did they fast this day? They said, because this is the day in which Allah has saved Musa عليه السلام from Fir'aun. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, نحن أحق بموسى منهم. Musa belongs to us more than he belongs to them. So this should be a ibadah for us, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started fasting the 10th of Muharram. So a Muslim has the broad perspective. He's living in light while everybody else is living in darkness. And then he said, وَمِن جَوْرِ الْأَدْيَانِ إِلَى عَدْلِ الْإِسْلَامِ, and from the oppression of religions to the justice of Islam. So Rabi'i was telling him that all religions would have you live in oppression. Only Islam will give you justice. Ibn Abi Amr, he was not a student of religions. He didn't study comparative religion. Probably he doesn't know much about the Zoroastrian religion or the Jewish religion or the Christian religion. But he has yaqeen. And he knows that Islam is the true religion. So he said that religions, adyan, plural, will offer you oppression, and Islam will offer you justice.
وكان في المدينة 9 رهط يفسدون في الأرض ولا يصلحون قالوا تقاسموا بالله لنبيتنه وأهله ثم لنقولن لوليه ما شهدنا مهلك أهله وإنا لصادقون ومكروا مكرا ومكرنا مكرا وهم لا يشعرون فانظر كيف كان عاقبة مكرهم أنا دمرناهم وقومهم أجمعين.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
وَمَكَرُوا مَكْرًا وَمَكَرْنَا مَكْرًا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ.
So they plotted a plot, and we planned a plan while they perceived not. When these 9 men were meeting, they were meeting in secret, whispering to each other. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is listening to them. And and they're trying to hide their plan from Allah, but Allah is hearing their plan. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is planning, and His plan is hidden from them. Makaru makran, they planned. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also making a plan. But the plan of Allah is secret and their plan is not. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is listening to them.
فانظر كيف كان عاقبة مكرهم أنا دمرناهم وقومهم أجمعين.
Then see how the end of their plot, verily we destroyed them and their nation altogether. Let's go back. How many are the ones who made this plan? 9. And then who was the one who went ahead and made the first move? 1. 9 men are the ones who administered the execution of the camel and the plan to kill Sayyidina Salih. How come the rest of the people of Thamud were destroyed? It was only 9. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Quran. How come because of 9 the whole nation was destroyed? Because they knew about this corruption and they did not stop it. Because they were a silent majority. Because they thought that they can eat and drink and have sex and sleep and they can be secure and safe. We are safe in our houses, nothing is going to affect us. There is no gray area, there is nothing in between. You with Hizb al-Rahman, the party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the other side is Hizb al-Shaytan, the party of Shaitan. There is nothing in between. That is how the masses of the people are. I mean, take any nation. Let's take the US for example. Who are the decision makers in America? President, the National Security Council, a few influential men in Congress, a few CEOs of big corporations in America, a few heads of major banks, a few of the strong Jewish lobbyists, and then a few of the professors and think tanks in major universities in the US, 200, 300, 400 people, and the rest of the people are between the aisles and the malls and the grocery stores, sitting on the benches, watching games or on their couches, eating and drinking and sleeping.
والذين كفروا يتمتعون ويأكلون كما تأكل الأنعام والنار مثوى لهم.
They eat and drink like cattle, and hellfire is their final abode. The masses of the people, that's what they do. There's a few of al-mala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about them in Quran, al-mala. We have been talking about al-mala a lot until now.
Al-Mala are the ones who rejected the message of Nuh. Al-Mala are the ones who rejected the message of Hud. And now Al-Mala are the ones who rejected the message of Salih. Al-Mala are the chiefs and the leaders. The rest of the people, they are after dunya, running after dunya, running after this world. But they are not secure. If you do not choose, you cannot stay on the middle, you cannot stay on the fence. You have to make a decision. You want to be with Hizb al-Rahman or Hizb al-Shaitan. There's nothing in between. And when these 9 men plotted their evil, and no one of the society stopped them, they were included, everyone else in the society was included in the punishment. A very important lesson for us to learn. Now, there is صراع بين الحق والباطل. Now there is a conflict between truth and evil. The conflict is happening. There's a conflict between Islam and Kufr. And the ones who are leading and representing Islam are a very small minority. And then the ones who are leading Kufr are a very small minority. And then the masses of the people are like the people of Thamud, doing nothing. So we need to choose and make a decision. Are we going to be with the ones who are representing Islam, or are we going to be with the ones who are representing evil, because there's nothing in between?